Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of October 17th through the 23rd of 2022. Alright, so this week we are coming into the third quarter phase of the lunar cycle. Great to take action and really challenge ourselves this early part of the week to implement anything from about a week ago when we had the full moon. But we do have some important aspects this week as well. In that early part of the week, we do have the Sun and Venus trining up to assertive Mars. So even though Mars is slowing down, he is about to go retrograde later this month around the 30th, 31st. There is some support coming into that here this week. And so we could be perhaps in the early part of the week feeling a bit assertive, maybe driven, maybe taking initiative. Could be quite supportive or easy. These kinds of more fiery things are quite supported here this early part. Now, the middle part, around Wednesday, Thursday, that same pair of Sun and Venus will be squaring up to deep Pluto. So this is a great opportunity to get in touch with the more deeper sides of life. Now, it might be a bit uncomfortable to do that, collectively speaking, because it is a square. But again, these squares can be very constructive. And so it is a great time of diving deep in our personal life, with relationships, uncovering deep stuff, and working with those deeper dimensions. All right, and then the week does end with that Venus actually conjoining the Sun, starting this new beginning really with our values. And Saturn is going to go direct here at the end of the week as well, perhaps starting to move forward some of the things that may have been on the back burner for about the past 5 months that we have been building in our lives. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here's the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, October 17th. And as you can see here, we are using the actual sky, the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. So if you are new, definitely check out that link down below for more information on using the visible sky called True Sidereal Astrology. All right, so let's do a bit of a recap coming into this week. Where do we have most of the fast movers? Well, most of them here are still in Virgo, the constellation of improvement and refinement. So you can see here the Sun and Venus about to conjoin here in Virgo, and Mercury gaining momentum after his recent retrograde. So great to be focused on what can be improved in our lives as we do finish up this Virgo energy over the coming weeks. What can we do to refine things, improve things? This can be, of course, ourselves and also our lives and our external environments as well. So good to get into those details, find solutions to problems, fix things. All of this is a great way of working with this current energy. Now, also Earth is that Mars is, again, slowing down for his retrograde later this month, and he's at this tail end here of Taurus, the bull. So it's been good to take things slowly and steadily when it comes to our actions, when it comes to our goals and our initiatives. And this is especially the case to take it slowly as Mars is slowing down. But like we said, we do have some supportive energy with Mars in this early part of the week. We do have that Sun and Venus getting close to each other, who will be trining Mars both Monday and Tuesday. So Mars will be quite supportive here. Mars, again, that fiery planet, can make it very constructive for anything that is requiring initiative on your part. So initiative, assertiveness, confidence, independence, right? Any of this kind of proactive, fiery nature. Now, of course, keep in mind it is in Earth signs, the trine. And so this is about, again, perhaps taking things a bit slowly in that process and working on things with the Virgo to create stability in our life, essentially. All the Earth signs are about creating more stability in our life and taking things one step at a time. But nonetheless, again, very supportive for these things. Trining the Sun is just very supportive for our vital life force. We could be perhaps feeling a bit energized, maybe a bit active and assertive ourselves. Tuesday will be the trine with Venus, which could be perhaps coming through in those relationships. Maybe easy to be assertive in those one-on-one connections, or having a good harmony between the yin and yang aspects of ourselves. All right. So all this definitely emphasized this Monday and Tuesday time. Again, this will be when we're in the third quarter phase, which is the more active, one of the two active phases of the lunar cycle. The other one is the first quarter. Okay, but these are the halfway points between the new moons and the full moons, which are very good integration points. And the third quarter is much easier to work with than the first quarter. So this week is easier to implement things, to take action, to challenge ourselves. But nonetheless, again, great to set those sort of intentions. Now, as a backdrop to this, we will have the moon finishing Gemini this early part of Monday. And so the early part, still good, as was the weekend for learning or communication. Okay, but the shift into Cancer will be placing that theme particularly around later Monday and Tuesday, which is more on the emotional side of things. Cancer is about creating that protective environment for ourselves, to practice self-care, to create that safe space for ourselves, to connect to our feelings, our emotions, to take care of our bodies, but also to do this for others as well. This is a great early part of the week also for getting in touch with that caring and nurturing side for those that are important to us in life as well. So great to connect to that more personal energy this later part of Monday and all of Tuesday. Now, once we do get to the Wednesday time period, the moon will be shifting into expressive Leo, and this will be the theme all the way up until Saturday. Okay, so the bulk of the week here will be around self-expression. It's a great time to do this. Anything that does involve fun, playfulness, creativity, connecting to the things and people we love in life, all of this can be a great way of working with really the bulk or the middle part of this week with the moon in Leo. Now, with that being said, here on the Wednesday and Thursday time, we do have the Sun and Venus now squaring up to deep and intense Pluto. Okay, so collectively, squares are going to naturally pull us towards an imbalance. Okay, usually the over or under extreme of the planet's energy, and in this case, Pluto, the ruler of the underworld. So with this, we might be approached with uncomfortable situations to face fears, to be vulnerable with ourselves and with Venus, with others, to confront, these things that are holding us back in life, or the things that we're in bondage to, that we can free ourselves from by really going deeper, right? Intentionally deeper. And this is the remedy, or the best way of working with this square, is to set those intentions to incorporate that deep underworld energy of Pluto, but consciously and constructively and with intention, right? So as you can see, it's a great middle part of the week for these things: healing, personal transformation, deep diving, research, uncovering hidden things. Especially with the Sun square Pluto on Wednesday, really gives us that focus and that deeper view of life. And we can even express ourselves in a more empowering way. Okay. As we get into the later part of Wednesday into Thursday, squaring Venus, the planet of those one-on-one connections. And so here, the natural tendency might be to put up those walls, those armors, those boundaries, which of course are important. But in those closer relationships, those deeper relationships, practicing trust, practicing depth, intimacy, vulnerability, things like this can be very constructive in those close relationships. For some of you, it might be strictly about creating those boundaries, setting those boundaries and things like that, which might feel quite empowering to do so. All right, but that's the whole point, is to connect to ourselves on a deeper level, to be aware of our own underworld, and to work with it constructively, and to perhaps do things in that external environment that are, in the way of empowerment, in the way of facing fears, in the way of doing what's really deeply important to us, and perhaps having a bit of an ego death in order to facilitate that process, right? And to connect more to that true self that is free, that is empowered, that is willing to face fears, and really connect to things that are deeply important to us in life. All right, so that's the deeper energy. Mercury will be opposite the Chiron, which was part of that full moon energy that we had a little over a week ago here with this. And so some healing energy still at work, as was the last full moon. And so in this case, again, with that deeper energy of Pluto, just recognizing that there could be some things to learn about healing or about our wounds with Mercury, the planet of our minds, opposite Chiron. And there could also be perhaps some communications as well that could help facilitate this healing process. All right, so that's the middle part of the week. It's an interesting combination because it is deeper like that, but again, the moon will be going into expressive Leo. All right, and then here around the Friday time, no major aspects, but we'll have that still, that moon in Leo. And then over the weekend here, we have Venus, the planet of those values and relationships, conjoining the sun. All right, so marking the sort of beginning or middle part of the Venus-Sun cycle, and I would say it's the beginning. So a new focus on what we value in life, a new focus on what we enjoy in life, and perhaps a new awareness of relationship energy. Okay. At least it's good to do so because that's from the sun's perspective, which is the most dominant perspective, right? The sun is the most, and along with the moon, are the most vital parts of ourselves. And so from that, more vital part of ourselves, there's this new shift of understanding, or maybe not understanding, but new shift of awareness of our values, of our relationships in life. But from Venus's perspective, which is from the perspective of relationships or of those enjoyments, there might be a bit of unseen, it might be hard to see these things, right? So there might be a bit of this what's called combust energy, where the sun is drowning out the Venus. If you were to look up at the sky, you would not see Venus, you would only see the sun. And so this is symbolic that that more fiery side of life or outward view might be drowning out some of that relationship energy and some of those values. So it is good to, again, intentionally bring extra conscious awareness to our values, to what matters to us in life, to what we enjoy in life, and to how we're relating and to our relationships. And then in this way, again, it can sort of mitigate if there is any of that combust energy. Whoops. Okay. So, but nonetheless, a new beginning with our values and relationships, and good to just be aware of that as these will naturally emerge out of this conjunction. All right. And Saturn is going direct. Now, this does take some time to build momentum. Saturn's a very slow-moving planet, but if there is anything over that Saturday and Sunday time period that you do feel like you do want to maybe start to implement or move forward in your life, that maybe has been on the back burner for about the past 5 months while Saturn's been retrograde, you may notice that there's support, slowly building support to do so. Okay, so Saturn's all about building structures. Saturn's all about building things in our life, these foundations, things that take time, perseverance. Right? On a very surface level, Saturn is our careers, our achievements, our accomplishments. Okay, but really wherever Saturn is in your chart, these energies will start to move forward in terms of building again for about the next 7 months with Saturn going direct now. And in this directness, he is being trined by Mercury, which is quite nice to see. And so just keeping in mind that over that weekend time, there's a little bit of that mental energy that could be quite constructive. Good time of perhaps learning, gaining information, or sharing it, or communication in general. Anything involving the mind and communication, just a bit grounded, just a bit mature, responsible, disciplined. And so, of course, if you do want to channel that into anything involving those mental or communicative things, then that can be fantastic. All right, so then the week does finish up here Saturday and Sunday with that moon in Virgo, gearing up for what will be a new moon next week. And so here the energies Saturday, Sunday are about, again, perhaps starting to finalize some things of this lunar cycle of these past 3 to 4 weeks, now 4 weeks from about when this happens, of improvement. Okay, now we'll have another new moon in Virgo, so it's going to be another iteration of this, another new beginning of this, but finishing things up from this lunar month can be great, especially if it's in the context of improvement, or again doing that work or that service or that refinement with this Virgo energy. All right, everyone. So that is the week in a nutshell. Important week, I would say. We do have some of these important aspects. We are in that third quarter moon at the beginning. Good for that action and initiative. A bit easier to do so because it's the third quarter moon. We still do have this Saturn squaring Uranus, who's been in orb. It didn't go exact this year. This was the energy from last year. But seeing that it is finishing this week, if there are some things that perhaps you have been working on since last year that are Saturn things you're building or working on, but are creating more freedom in your life, which is the Uranus side to it. Okay. And if you've been integrating anything in your life that is about both stability and freedom, right, this could still be a great week to do so. This has been going on for the past few weeks here, but it is finishing up in terms of them being close. So it could be good for wrapping things up there on that level. Okay. But yeah, this week, that action oriented at the beginning of the week, things starting to close out and finalize as the energies die down for the new moon next week. And some trines with Mars early, which could give us some of that initiative and independence, some of that deeper energy to work with Pluto, and some of this perhaps slowly forward movement with the things we're building or can be starting to build in our lives with Saturn direct. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube. If you're not yet signed up, there's a link down below for that. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.